Security cameras at Graceland captured something in 2019 that made the entire staff quit overnight. What they recorded in Elvis's bedroom was so terrifying that the footage was locked away and never shown to the public. It was 3:17 a.m. on October 16, 2019, when the motion sensors in the upstairs area of Graceland triggered an alarm that would change everything anyone thought they knew about Elvis Presley's famous mansion. The security guard on duty, Marcus Williams, had been working the night shift at Graceland for over 8 years and had grown accustomed to the occasional false alarms caused by the mansion's aging electrical system or small animals that sometimes found their way into the building. But what appeared on the security monitors that night was unlike anything he had ever seen before. The infrared cameras installed throughout Graceland's second floor, an area that is off-limits to public tours and accessible only to estate management and maintenance staff, showed what appeared to be a human figure moving through Elvis's preserved bedroom. The figure was clearly visible on multiple camera angles, moving with purpose and familiarity through the darkened room, as if whoever it was knew exactly where they were going and what they were looking for. The most disturbing aspect of the footage was that the figure appeared to be translucent, with the furniture and walls visible through what should have been a solid human form. Marcus initially assumed that someone had broken into the mansion and was attempting to steal artifacts from Elvis's private quarters. He immediately called for backup security and began making his way upstairs to investigate. But as he watched the monitors more closely, he began to notice details about the intruder that made no sense. The figure was wearing what appeared to be one of Elvis's iconic jumpsuits, complete with the distinctive cape and belt that had been part of his stage costume during his final years. More unsettling still was the fact that the figure moved exactly like Elvis, with the same distinctive gait and posture that had been captured in countless photographs and video recordings. If this incredible story of supernatural activity at Graceland and the terrifying evidence that proves Elvis's spirit never left his home has captured your attention, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. What the security cameras recorded that night was just the beginning of a series of paranormal events that would force everyone to reconsider what they thought they knew about life, death, and the power of unfinished business. When Marcus reached the upstairs hallway, he found that the bedroom door was securely locked, just as it had been when he had checked it during his earlier rounds. The room showed no signs of forced entry, and all the windows remained locked from the inside. Yet the security cameras continued to show the translucent figure moving through the bedroom, opening drawers, examining personal items, and even sitting on the edge of the bed in a posture that was unmistakably Elvis's characteristic way of relaxing during his private moments at home. The footage from that October night was immediately reviewed by estate management, security supervisors, and technical experts who were brought in to determine whether the cameras had malfunctioned or been tampered with. Every analysis confirmed that the recording equipment was functioning normally and that the images had not been digitally manipulated or altered in any way. The figure captured on camera was present in the room for over 2 hours, during which time it appeared to be searching for something specific among Elvis's personal belongings. What made the footage even more disturbing was the audio that accompanied the visual recording. The security system's sensitive microphones had captured sounds from inside the bedroom that included what appeared to be Elvis's voice, singing softly to himself in the distinctive style that had made him famous. The voice was recorded singing fragments of songs that had never been officially released, including what appeared to be new lyrics to familiar melodies. Audio experts who analyzed the recordings confirmed that the voice patterns matched Elvis's known vocal characteristics, including subtle inflections and breathing patterns that would be almost impossible to fake. The revelation of the security footage created an immediate crisis among the Graceland staff. Within 48 hours of the incident, 6 full-time employees had submitted their resignations, citing their unwillingness to continue working in a location that they now believed to be haunted by Elvis's spirit. The employees who quit included security guards, maintenance workers, and administrative staff who had worked at Graceland for years without experiencing anything supernatural. Their sudden mass exodus sent shockwaves through the estate management and created staffing problems that took months to resolve. Estate management attempted to keep the incident confidential, but word of the supernatural activity quickly spread throughout the Memphis community and among Elvis fans worldwide. The story was initially dismissed as gossip and urban legend, but the credibility of the witnesses and the existence of the security footage made it impossible to completely debunk. Several employees who had quit their positions began giving interviews to local media outlets, describing not only the October 16th incident, but also previous experiences with unexplained phenomena that they had previously kept to themselves. The mass resignation of experienced staff members forced Graceland's management to hire a team of paranormal investigators to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of the supernatural activity in the mansion. The investigation team, led by renowned paranormal researcher Dr. Sarah Mitchell, was given unprecedented access to areas of Graceland that had been off-limits to outsiders since Elvis's death. Their preliminary findings suggested that the mansion was experiencing what they classified as an intelligent haunting, with paranormal activity that appeared to be purposeful and directed rather than random or chaotic. Dr. Mitchell's team installed additional monitoring equipment throughout Graceland, including electromagnetic field detectors, temperature sensors, and advanced audio recording devices that could capture sounds beyond the range of human hearing. The data collected during the first week of their investigation revealed patterns of supernatural activity that occurred primarily during the late night and early morning hours, with the highest concentration of phenomena occurring in Elvis's bedroom, his private bathroom, and the music room where he had spent countless hours practicing and recording. As the paranormal investigation continued, a disturbing pattern began to emerge in the supernatural activity at Graceland. The manifestations were not random or chaotic, but appeared to follow a specific routine that mirrored Elvis's daily habits during the final years of his life. The spirit would appear in different areas of the mansion at times that corresponded to Elvis's known schedule, suggesting that his consciousness was somehow trapped in a loop, endlessly repeating the activities and concerns that had occupied his final months. The most frequent manifestations occurred in Elvis's bedroom, between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., which had been his typical sleeping time during his final years when his prescription drug use had severely disrupted his natural sleep patterns. Witnesses reported seeing the translucent figure of Elvis lying in bed, tossing and turning as if experiencing the insomnia and physical discomfort that had plagued him during his lifetime. The figure would often get up and walk to the bathroom, mimicking the routine that Elvis had followed on the night of his death. Even more unsettling were the manifestations that occurred in Elvis's private study, where his spirit appeared to be searching through papers and documents as if looking for something specific that had been lost or hidden. The paranormal investigators discovered that these searching behaviors were most intense around the anniversary dates of significant events in Elvis's life, including his birthday, the anniversary of his mother's death, and the date of his own passing. During these periods, the supernatural activity would increase dramatically, with multiple witnesses reporting sightings and encounters throughout the mansion. The audio recordings captured during these manifestations provided the most compelling evidence of Elvis's continued presence at Graceland. The spirit appeared to be attempting to communicate with the living, speaking in what sounded like Elvis's voice about unfinished business and unresolved concerns. The recordings included references to hidden money, secret recordings, and messages that he had wanted to leave for his daughter Lisa Marie, but had never been able to deliver before his death. Dr. Mitchell's analysis of the paranormal activity suggested that Elvis's spirit was experiencing what she termed temporal displacement, a condition where the consciousness becomes trapped between different time periods and unable to move forward into whatever comes after death. The spirit appeared to be aware of its own death, but was unable to accept or process the transition, resulting in a haunting that was both profound and deeply tragic. The investigation also revealed that the supernatural activity at Graceland was not limited to Elvis's spirit. Several witnesses reported encounters with other deceased individuals who had been important in Elvis's life, including his mother Gladys Presley, his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and various friends and associates who had died before him. These secondary spirits appeared to be drawn to Graceland by Elvis's powerful presence, creating what Dr. Mitchell described as a spiritual anchor that was preventing multiple souls from moving on to whatever awaited them after death. Have you ever experienced something that made you question whether the dead can really communicate with the living? What do you think would keep someone's spirit tied to a physical location even after death? As the paranormal investigation progressed, the supernatural activity at Graceland evolved from simple manifestations to direct interactions between Elvis's spirit and living people. These encounters were far more disturbing than the security camera footage because they involved Elvis's consciousness actively engaging with the physical world and attempting to communicate specific information to those who were present during the manifestations. The first documented interactive encounter occurred when Dr. Mitchell was conducting late-night recordings in Elvis's bedroom. At approximately 3:30 a.m., she reported feeling a presence in the room that seemed to be observing her work with intense interest. When she spoke aloud, acknowledging the presence and inviting communication, she recorded what appeared to be Elvis's voice responding directly to her questions about his unfinished business and the reasons for his continued presence at Graceland. The communication was fragmentary and often difficult to understand, but certain themes emerged repeatedly during these sessions. Elvis's spirit appeared to be deeply concerned about secrets that he had never been able to reveal during his lifetime, including information about his death, hidden financial assets, and recordings that he had made but never released. The spirit seemed particularly anxious about protecting his daughter, Lisa Marie, from dangers that he believed still threatened his family, even decades after his death. One of the most significant interactive encounters occurred when Lisa Marie Presley herself visited Graceland during the investigation. According to Dr. Mitchell's report, Lisa Marie experienced a profound spiritual encounter with her father's presence, during which she received specific information about the location of personal items that had been missing since Elvis's death. Following the guidance provided during this supernatural communication, Lisa Marie was able to locate a hidden compartment in Elvis's bedroom that contained letters, photographs, and recordings that had been unknown to the estate management. The discovery of the hidden compartment provided tangible evidence that the paranormal encounters were providing genuine information that could not have been obtained through normal means. The items found in the compartment included Elvis's personal diary entries from his final weeks, which contained detailed accounts of his fears about his safety and his suspicions about the people around him. These documents corroborated many of the concerns that his spirit had been attempting to communicate through the paranormal manifestations. The interactive nature of the hauntings also extended to other family members and close friends who visited Graceland during the investigation period. Priscilla Presley reported experiencing what she described as a visitation from Elvis, during which he conveyed his regret about their failed marriage and his gratitude for her continued involvement in preserving his legacy. These encounters were emotionally intense and provided a sense of closure that had been missing since Elvis's sudden death decades earlier. The paranormal investigation revealed that Elvis's spirit was being held at Graceland by several categories of unfinished business that were preventing him from finding peace in death. The most significant of these concerns involved his belief that the circumstances of his death had never been properly investigated and that the people responsible for his demise had never been brought to justice. His spirit appeared to be attempting to provide evidence that would support the theory that he had been murdered rather than dying from natural causes related to his prescription drug use. During one particularly intense communication session, Elvis's spirit provided specific details about events that occurred during his final days, including meetings with unknown individuals and phone calls that had not been documented in the official investigation into his death. The information provided by the spirit included names, dates, and locations that could potentially be verified through historical research, suggesting that the paranormal communications were not simply the product of wishful thinking or psychological projection by the investigators. Elvis's spirit also appeared to be deeply concerned about the financial exploitation of his legacy and the mismanagement of his estate that had occurred after his death. The supernatural manifestations often occurred in areas of Graceland where financial documents were stored, and the spirit seemed to be attempting to direct attention to irregularities and fraudulent activities that had gone undetected by the estate's legal and financial advisors. This concern was particularly intense when the spirit communicated about Colonel Tom Parker's management of Elvis's career and the financial arrangements that had been made without Elvis's full knowledge or consent. The third major category of unfinished business involved Elvis's relationships with family members and friends, particularly his deep regret about the impact that his fame and personal struggles had on the people he loved. The spirit expressed profound sadness about his inability to be the father that Lisa Marie had deserved, and his failure to maintain the relationships that had been most important to him during his lifetime. These emotional concerns appeared to be creating a powerful spiritual anchor that was preventing Elvis from accepting his death and moving forward. Dr. Mitchell's team documented numerous instances where Elvis's spirit appeared to be attempting to provide comfort and guidance to visitors who were dealing with their own grief and loss. The paranormal encounters often included messages of love, forgiveness, and encouragement that seemed designed to help the living find peace with Elvis's death and move forward with their own lives. These healing interactions suggested that Elvis's continued presence at Graceland served not only his own spiritual needs, but also provided emotional support for those who had been affected by his life and death. And the paranormal investigation at Graceland concluded after 6 months with a comprehensive report that documented over 200 instances of supernatural activity, including visual manifestations, audio recordings, and interactive encounters. The evidence collected during the investigation provided compelling support for the theory that Elvis's consciousness has remained active at Graceland since his death, creating one of the most well-documented cases of intelligent haunting in paranormal research history. The estate management's response to the investigation findings was complex and carefully managed. While they acknowledged the validity of the paranormal research and the credibility of the witnesses, they were reluctant to publicize the supernatural activity at Graceland because of concerns about how it might affect the mansion's status as a tourist destination and memorial to Elvis's life and career. The decision was made to limit public discussion of the paranormal findings while continuing to monitor the ongoing supernatural activity. The security footage from the original October 2019 incident remains classified and has never been released to the public, despite numerous requests from paranormal researchers, Elvis fans, and media organizations. Estate management has cited privacy concerns and the potential for sensationalism as reasons for keeping the most compelling evidence of supernatural activity confidential. However, leaked descriptions of the footage continue to circulate among paranormal investigators and Elvis enthusiasts, fueling ongoing speculation about the true extent of the haunting at Graceland. The staff turnover at Graceland has remained high since the paranormal investigation, with many employees reporting ongoing encounters with Elvis's spirit and other supernatural phenomena. The estate has implemented specialized training programs for new employees to help them cope with the possibility of paranormal encounters and has established protocols for documenting and reporting unusual incidents. Despite these measures, the supernatural activity continues to create challenges for the day-to-day operation of Graceland as both a tourist attraction and a family home. Recent reports suggest that the paranormal activity at Graceland has actually increased in intensity since the conclusion of the formal investigation. Witnesses have described more frequent and more vivid manifestations, including full-body apparitions of Elvis that are visible in normal lighting conditions rather than just on infrared cameras. Some investigators believe that the attention focused on the supernatural activity during the research period may have strengthened Elvis's spiritual presence at the mansion, making it more difficult for his consciousness to find peace and move on. The ongoing paranormal activity at Graceland raises profound questions about the nature of death, consciousness, and the power of emotional attachment to transcend physical existence. Elvis's apparent inability to leave Graceland suggests that his deep love for his home and his family, combined with his unresolved concerns about his death and legacy, have created spiritual bonds that are stronger than death itself. The mansion has become not just a memorial to his life, but a place where his consciousness continues to exist in some form, interacting with the physical world and attempting to complete the business that was left unfinished at the time of his death. What do you think about the possibility that strong emotional attachments can prevent someone's spirit from finding peace after death? Have you ever experienced something that made you believe the dead can still influence the world of the living? The story of the paranormal activity at Graceland serves as a reminder that death may not be the final chapter in human consciousness, and that the bonds of love, family, and unfinished business may be powerful enough to transcend the boundaries between life and death. Whether or not one believes in the supernatural aspects of these encounters, they provide insight into the depth of Elvis's emotional connections to his home, his family, and his fans, connections that appear to remain active even decades after his physical death. The investigation at Graceland continues to influence paranormal research and our understanding of intelligent hauntings. The case provides some of the most compelling evidence ever documented that consciousness can survive bodily death and continue to interact with the physical world under certain circumstances. For Elvis fans and believers in the supernatural, the ongoing activity at Graceland offers hope that death is not the end, but rather a transition to a different form of existence where love and connection can continue indefinitely. This incredible story of supernatural activity at Elvis's beloved home shows us that some bonds are stronger than death itself, and that the king may truly never have left the building. If this story moved you, make sure to subscribe for more amazing tales of paranormal encounters with music's greatest legends. Share this video with someone who needs to know that love and connection can transcend even death itself. And let us know in the comments, do you believe that Elvis's spirit is still present at Graceland, or do you think there's a more conventional explanation for these mysterious events?